The gun was pointed directly at her face. Jane never imagined her life would end like this, in a dark parking garage, staring down the barrel of a weapon held by a man she didn't even know. But that was the consequence of accidentally sleeping with the Korean Mafia. Her name was Jane, and one terrible decision had dragged her into a world she never knew existed. A world of danger, obsession, and a love so intense it nearly destroyed her. If you're ready for this wild ride, hit that subscribe button and buckle up. Trust me, you won't believe where this goes. Let me take you back to where it all started, 3 weeks ago, on the worst night of her life. That Friday afternoon, she had been excited. It was her and Marcus's 3-year anniversary, and she'd planned the perfect surprise. She left work early, stopped at his favorite restaurant for takeout, and even bought expensive lingerie that made her credit card cry. Marcus had been her college sweetheart, safe, reliable, boring in the best comforting way. Or so she believed. She practically skipped up the stairs to their apartment, balancing the food in one hand while searching for her keys with the other. Her mind was full of thoughts about how lucky she was, how stable her life felt. She had no idea how wrong she was. Jane unlocked the door quietly, hoping to surprise him. The apartment was oddly silent, no TV, no music. Maybe he was napping. She set the food down on the kitchen counter and headed toward the bedroom. That was when she heard it. A sound that froze the blood in her veins. A woman's laugh, coming from their bedroom. Her legs carried her forward on pure instinct. She pushed the door open, and her entire world shattered. Marcus was in their bed, with Sarah, her best friend since sophomore year of college. Sarah, who had been maid of honor at her sister's wedding. Sarah, who had held her hair back when she had food poisoning last month. They didn't even notice her at first, too occupied in their betrayal. What the hell is this? Jane's voice came out a whisper, but it might as well have been a scream. Marcus's had snapped around, his face draining of color. Jane, oh my God, Get out, she said, trembling. Both of you, get out now. Sarah scrambled to cover herself with Jane's sheets, her face flushed with guilt or maybe embarrassment. Jane, please let me explain, Marcus began. Explain? Something inside her cracked. Explain what? How long has this been going on? Their silence told her everything. Answer me, she shouted. Sarah's voice was small. 6 months. 6 months. For half a year, Jane had been the clueless girlfriend, smiling, laughing, trusting them both while they lied to her face. 6 months of double dates, girls' nights, planning futures. All fake. How could you? She asked Sarah, tears rolling down her cheeks. You were my best friend. I'm sorry, Sarah whispered. We didn't mean for it to happen. We fell in love. Jane laughed then, a hollow, broken sound. Love? You call this love? Marcus got out of bed, pulling on his pants. Jane, you have to understand. You've been so distant lately, so focused on work. Sarah was there when... Don't you dare blame this on me, she snapped. Don't you dare make this my fault because I was building a career. I'm not saying it's your fault, he insisted, though his tone said otherwise. I'm just saying things haven't been great between us. Then you should have talked to me. You should have broken up with me. You don't get to cheat and then act like I drove you to it. Sarah was crying too now. We never wanted to hurt you. But you did, Jane said coldly. For 6 months, you looked me in the eye and lied. She grabbed her purse. She couldn't stay another second. The room felt too tight, the air too thin. Jane, where are you going? Marcus called after her. Away from you. Don't call me. Don't text me. We're done. She slammed the door behind her, hard enough to rattle the frame. She sat in her car for over an hour, sobbing until her whole body ached. Everything she thought she knew, her relationship, her closest friendship, was gone in an instant. Her phone buzzed constantly. Messages from Marcus. From Sarah. She blocked them both without reading any of it. Then a new text came in. Monica, her coworker. Hey girl. Still on for drinks tonight. She had forgotten completely. Monica had been trying to get her to go out for weeks, but Jane had always said no. Too busy. Too tired. Too settled with Marcus. Her now shattered life. Jane typed back, yes. I need to get very, very drunk. The response was immediate. Oh. What happened? Meet me at 9. Lunar Eclipse. Wear something hot. Lunar Eclipse, an ultra-exclusive downtown club where only people with connections got in. But Monica's promoter boyfriend had them covered. Jane checked her reflection in the rearview mirror, red eyes, streaked mascara, a face that screamed heartbreak. Screw it, she muttered. She drove to her sister's empty apartment, showered, fixed her makeup, and pulled on the one club dress she owned, a red one she'd never worn because Marcus had said it was too much. The woman staring back at her in the mirror looked unfamiliar. But maybe that was what she needed. Someone new. Someone reckless. By the time she met Monica outside the club at 9, she'd already made up her mind. Tonight, she was doing something wild. Something she'd never dare before. She just had no idea how far that one reckless choice would take her, or who it would lead her to. When Monica spotted Jane outside the club, she squealed and pulled her into a hug, only to pull back and study her face in alarm. "Oh my God, Jane, you look amazing. Wait, have you been crying? What happened?" "I caught Marcus cheating on me with Sarah," Jane said flatly. Monica's jaw dropped. "Sarah? You're Sarah? Best friend Sarah? The one and only." That absolute piece of. Monica stopped herself, then shook her head. "You know what? No. We're not talking about them tonight. Tonight is about you forgetting they ever existed. Come on." She grabbed Jane's hand and led her straight past the long line outside. The bouncer took one look at Monica, nodded once, and unhooked the velvet rope for them. Inside, the club was overwhelming. Pulsing music, flashing lights, crowds of beautiful people. Monica didn't stop until they reached the VIP section upstairs. "Your boyfriend set this up?" Jane asked, genuinely impressed. "He has his uses," Monica said with a wink. "Now, let's get you a drink. Or 5. They ordered cocktails, fancy ones with names Jane couldn't pronounce. She gulped the first down too fast. "Easy there," Monica laughed. "We've got all night." But Jane didn't want to take it easy. She wanted to drown every memory of Marcus and Sarah. So she drank more 3 than 4. The pain blurred at the edges. The music grew louder than her thoughts, and for the first time since the betrayal, she could breathe. "I need to dance," she announced, pushing to her feet. "Jane, you're kinda drunk." "I'm perfect. Come on." They headed to the dance floor, where Jane lost herself completely. She danced with reckless, desperate freedom, her body moving without thought or restraint. Then she felt it. A gaze, heavy, intentional, focused. She turned and saw him standing in a private VIP section across the club. Even from afar, he was striking, sharp features, dark hair styled perfectly, a suit that screamed money and power. But it wasn't his looks that caught her breath. It was the way he was watching her, like she was the only person in the building. 2 men flanked him, clearly bodyguards. People gave him space, respect, fear. "Who is that?" Jane asked, unable to look away. Monica followed her gaze, and her eyes widened. "Oh shit, that's Young Kong." "Who?" "Young Kong. His family basically owns half the city. Old money, connections, and," Monica lowered her voice, "rumors about illegal stuff. Organized crime." Jane should have been scared, but heartbreak and alcohol made her bold. She held his gaze. A small smile tugged at his mouth. He said something to one of his guards, who immediately walked toward the bar. "Jane, what are you doing?" Monica hissed. "I have no idea." Moments later, the bartender placed a crystal glass of amber liquor in front of her. "From Mr. Kong," he said. "He'd like you to join him." Jane's heart pounded. This was insane. She wasn't the type of woman who got involved with mysterious, dangerous men. But tonight, she wasn't the type she had always been. "Tell Mr. Kong I don't accept drinks from strangers," she said. The bartender blinked, nodded, and walked away. Monica stared. "Did you just turn down Young Kong?" "I think I did." Across the club, they watched the bartender deliver the message. Young's expression shifted. Surprise, then amusement. Then he stood. The crowd parted instinctively as he moved toward her. "Oh my God, he's coming over here," Monica whispered. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." Then Young was standing in front of Jane. Up close, he was even more striking. His eyes were dark and penetrating, his presence almost tangible, danger wrapped in elegance. "I'm Young," he said, voice low and smooth. "And you are?" "Uninterested," she replied, startling even herself. Young smiled, slow, genuine and disarming. "Is that so? Then why haven't you walked away?" "Maybe I'm waiting for you to give me a reason to stay." "Bold," he said, stepping closer. His cologne was intoxicating. "I like that. So, if you don't accept drinks from strangers, what do you accept?" "Honesty." "All right." His gaze held hers. "Honestly? I haven't been able to take my eyes off you since you walked in. You dance like you're trying to forget something painful." The words hit too close to home. "Maybe I am." "Want to tell me about it?" "Not particularly." "Then let me help you forget." He held out his hand. "Dance with me. No drinks. No pressure. Just a dance." Jane stared at his hand, then at him. Everything rational screamed no. But rationality had gotten her nowhere. So she took his hand. Electricity shot through her at the contact. He led her to the dance floor, moving with effortless confidence. His hand settled on her waist, firm but not forceful. The music slowed, sensual and intimate. "What are you running from?" he asked softly near her ear. "What makes you think I'm running?" "Because I know the look. I've worn it myself." She pulled back just enough to meet his eyes. "And what were you running from?" "Expectations. Legacy. A life I never asked for." He paused. "Your turn." Maybe it was the alcohol, or the anonymity of the club, or the impossibility of this moment, but she told him. "I caught my boyfriend in bed with my best friend today. 3 years together. He blamed me, made me feel like I wasn't enough." Jung's jaw clenched. "Then he's a fool. You don't even know me." "I know enough," he said softly. "I know you're beautiful. I know you're strong. Most people would be home crying, not here dancing. And I know anyone who made you feel like you weren't enough doesn't deserve you." Her breath hitched. "You're very smooth, Jung Kong." "I'm honest," he replied. "You said that's what you accept." The song ended, but neither of them moved. Jane and Jung danced for what felt like hours, though it could have been minutes. Time stretched and folded around them. Each song pulled them closer, and every time Jung's hands found her waist, she felt a sense of belonging she hadn't realized she'd been missing. When he looked at her, she felt seen in a way Marcus had never managed. Between the songs, they talked, really talked. Jung spoke of the intense expectations tied to his family name, of responsibilities that felt more like shackles than privilege. The kind of life that looked perfect from the outside but suffocated him from within. Jane told him about her office job, her simple dreams, how she had always played it safe until safe betrayed her so brutally. "Sometimes safe is the most dangerous thing," Jung said quietly. "It makes you think you're protected when you're really just stuck." "Is that what you are?" she asked. "Stuck." His expression darkened. In ways you can't imagine. There was a painful honesty in his eyes, something haunted. Something that resonated with the broken pieces inside her. They were both trapped, just in different cages. "Come with me," Jung said suddenly, taking her hand. "Where?" "Somewhere quieter. Where we can actually hear each other." Jane glanced back at Monica, who was dancing with a stranger. Monica caught her eye, flashed a thumbs up, and Jane mouthed that she would text her. Monica nodded without missing a beat. Jung led her through the crowd, never releasing her hand. People parted instinctively at his presence, casting curious glances as he guided her to a door marked private. "Are we allowed back here?" Jane asked. "I own 20% of this club," Jung replied calmly. "I'm allowed anywhere." They climbed a staircase that led to a rooftop terrace Jane hadn't known existed. The roar of the club became a faint thrum beneath them. Up here, only the cool night air and the distant hum of the city remained. She walked to the edge of the terrace. The city stretched out infinitely below them, glittering like scattered stars. "Wow," she said softly. "I come up here to think," Jung explained, leading her to a seating area. "When the world downstairs gets too loud." He fetched 2 bottles of water from a mini fridge. "Drink. You'll thank me later." She laughed. "Planning for my hangover?" "Something like that." They sat in silence for a while, just taking in the view. Then Jung turned toward her. "Can I ask you something, Jane? You remembered my name." "Of course. Why wouldn't I?" Most men at clubs didn't bother remembering names. Jung wasn't like most men. "What did you want to ask?" she said. "What would you do right now if you could do anything? No consequences. No expectations. Nothing holding you back." Jane thought for a moment. "Honestly, I'd do something completely out of character. Something that proves I'm not the boring, predictable girl who got cheated on because she played it safe." "And what would that be?" She met his gaze. Months, maybe years, of holding back, of being sensible, of living inside neat lines had led to this moment. "I'd leave this rooftop with you," she said quietly. "Go somewhere, anywhere, and forget about tomorrow." Jung's expression shifted, surprise, heat, and something darker flickering in his eyes. "Jane, you've been drinking. I don't want you to regret." "I know exactly what I'm saying." She moved closer. "I'm not drunk anymore. Your water plan worked. And I still want this. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. I know you make me feel alive. For the first time in a long time." Her voice softened. "I know when you look at me, I don't feel like the girl who wasn't enough. I feel worth wanting." "You are worth wanting," Jung said fiercely. "Any man who made you doubt that is an idiot. Then prove it." The words left her mouth before she could take them back. Jung stood abruptly and paced to the terrace edge. Jane's heart stuttered. Had she misread everything? But then he turned, and the seriousness in his eyes made her breath catch. "If we do this," he said carefully, "you need to understand something. I'm not a good man. My life is complicated in ways you can't imagine. I can offer you tonight, but I can't promise tomorrow." "I'm not asking for tomorrow," she whispered. "Tomorrow I deal with my ruined life. Tonight, I want to feel something else. Anything else." Jung crossed the terrace in 3 long strides, cupped her face, and searched her eyes. "Are you sure?" Instead of answering, Jane kissed him. The kiss was immediate, electric, filled with raw need and wounded emotion. Jung pulled her close, deepening the kiss, his hands gripping her as if he were afraid she might disappear. She melted into him, into the moment, the madness, the relief. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless. "Come with me," Jung murmured, voice rough. "Where?" "My place." She should have said no. The old Jane would have. But the old Jane was gone. "Let's go." Jung's car was a sleek black machine that exuded quiet power. His driver held the door open, and Jane slid into buttery leather seats that smelled like wealth. The drive was silent, tense, charged. Jung's hand rested on her thigh, firm and warm. She leaned into the feeling, letting it drown out everything else. His building towered high above the city, in one of the wealthiest districts. They passed a doorman who greeted Jung respectfully and entered a private elevator that took them straight to the penthouse. When the doors opened, Jane gasped. Floor-to-ceiling windows wrapped around the entire space, revealing a glittering cityscape. Everything inside, the furniture, the art, the lighting, was impossibly elegant. "Jung, this is too much?" he asked, a hint of vulnerability in his voice. "It's incredible." He relaxed a fraction. "Can I get you water? Something else?" She stepped closer. "Stop being polite. We both know why we're here. I'm trying to be a gentleman." "I'm not looking for a gentleman." Her voice lowered. "I'm looking for you." Something inside him snapped. He pulled her against him, kissing her hard, and she returned the kiss with equal desperation. Clothes fell away as they stumbled toward his bedroom, shedding layers and logic both. At the edge of the bed, Jung paused. "Last chance. Tell me to stop." "Don't you dare," she whispered, pulling him down with her. What followed was everything Jane needed. Intense, tender, consuming. Jung treated her like she mattered, like she wasn't broken, like she wasn't disposable. For hours, the world shrank to just them. Afterward, they lay tangled together, her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For making me feel like I matter." Jung tilted her chin up gently. "You do matter, Jane. Don't forget that." She smiled, exhaustion settling over her. Her eyes drifted shut as Jung pulled her closer, wrapping his arms around her protectively. She fell asleep feeling safer than she had in years. She didn't yet know that safety was only an illusion. Jane woke to sunlight spilling through floor-to-ceiling windows and a pounding headache that reminded her exactly why she didn't usually drink 4 cocktails in one night. For a blissful moment, she didn't remember where she was. Then everything came flooding back. Marcus and Sarah, the club, Jung Kong, and the reckless decision she'd made. She bolted upright, instantly regretting the movement as her head throbbed. The unfamiliar room confirmed the truth. She had gone home with a complete stranger. A very dangerous stranger, if Monica's warnings were accurate. Jung wasn't in bed beside her. The sheets were cold, meaning he'd been gone for a while. Part of her felt relieved. No awkward morning after conversation, but another part felt strangely disappointed. Her clothes, which she faintly remembered flinging across the room, were now neatly folded on a chair. Someone had picked them up. Thoughtful or creepy, she couldn't decide. She dressed quickly, hands shaking. What had she been thinking? Jung Kong wasn't just any man. He was someone Monica believed was connected to organized crime. She needed to leave before this turned into something even more complicated. She crept out of the bedroom. Daylight revealed just how extravagant the penthouse truly was. Clean lines, glass, luxury everywhere. A handwritten note on the counter caught her eye beside a plate of croissants and fruit. "Jane had to leave early for a meeting. Breakfast is here. Please eat something before you go. Last night was extraordinary. J." A sleek, minimal business card lay beside it, showing only a phone number. No name. No company. She stared at it, conflicted, then left it behind. Reaching the elevator, she realized she needed a code to operate it. Of course. Panic built in her chest until a suited man, one of Jung's guards, appeared. Miss Jane, he said politely. May I help you? I need to leave. The elevator. He entered a code. Have a good day, Miss Jane. Once inside the elevator, Jane pulled out her phone. 12 missed calls from Monica. 6 frantic texts. She replied that she was fine and asked if she could stay at her place. Monica responded immediately, demanding details. The Uber ride to Monica's apartment gave Jane too much time to think. She knew she'd been reckless, but for the first time since catching Marcus and Sarah, she didn't feel like a victim. She felt in control, a feeling she hadn't realized she'd missed. Monica practically dragged her inside. Tell me everything. Are you hurt? Did he? Monica breathed. I'm okay. Monica studied her, then relaxed. You look good. Shockingly good. I feel different, Jane admitted, collapsing onto the couch. After a shower, coffee, and Chinese takeout, she told Monica everything, minus the intimate details. When she finished, Monica sat back, stunned. Wow. Jane Chun had a one-night stand with Young Kong. I never thought I'd hear those words. It was a mistake, Jane said, though even she didn't sound convinced. Was it though? You needed to feel alive. And girl, you look alive. It's over, Jane insisted. Back to real life. Did he ask to see you again? He left his number. I didn't take it. Monica gasped. Why? Because he's dangerous. Because I just left a 3-year relationship. Because I don't want to get dragged into someone else's mess. Fair, Monica allowed. But still, sometimes a little danger isn't the worst thing. Jane changed the subject, insisting she needed a new apartment. Monica told her to stay as long as she needed. Over the next few days, Jane focused on rebuilding her life. She returned to the old apartment only when Marcus wasn't home, packed her things quickly, and blocked both him and Sarah on every platform. Work became her refuge. She stayed late every night. Her boss even praised her performance. But no matter how late she worked, her thoughts drifted back to Jung, his intensity, his gentleness, his danger. She wondered whether he'd thought about her at all, though she told herself it didn't matter. A week passed. One Friday night, after staying late at the office, she walked alone through the empty parking garage. She was exhausted and ready to collapse into bed. Then she heard footsteps. She turned and froze. Marcus. He approached her with anger and desperation on his face. Jane, wait. We need to talk. There's nothing to talk about, she snapped, fumbling for her car keys. He followed, grabbing her arm. You can't throw away 3 years over one mistake. 6 months of cheating isn't one mistake, she yelled. He tightened his grip. Fear shot through her. You moved on fast, didn't you? He hissed. I saw you with that guy. She told you to let go. The deadly calm voice cut through the garage. Jung stepped from behind a pillar, 2 men flanking him. Even in dim lighting, the danger radiating from him was unmistakable. Marcus paled. Who the hell are you? Jung approached slowly. I'm the man who's going to break every finger on your hand if you don't release her. Right now. Marcus dropped her arm immediately. Jung's men stepped forward. Marcus stumbled back. He tried to speak, but Jung moved faster than either of them could react. He grabbed Marcus by the throat and slammed him against a car. It is over, Jung whispered coldly. If you ever come near her again, they will never find your body. Do you understand? Marcus choked out a frantic yes. Jung held him a beat longer, then released him. Marcus ran. Jane stood shaking, adrenaline crashing through her system. Jung turned to her, concern replacing the predator's expression he'd worn seconds before. Are you hurt? I'm fine, she managed. Were you following me? My men have been watching your building, Jung said simply. For your protection. Her shock turned to anger. You've been having me followed? Yes. No apology. No justification. That's stalking. I protect what's mine. I'm not yours, she yelled. Jung stepped closer, backing her against her car, not threatening, but intense. Aren't you? Her breath caught. His nearness, his voice, his eyes, all of it overwhelmed her. I haven't stopped thinking about you, he said softly. I told myself to let you go. I couldn't. This is crazy, she whispered. Then let something be crazy, Jung murmured. Let me take you to dinner. Let me show you I'm not just the man you saw tonight. You're asking me this after threatening my ex in a parking garage. Not my best timing, he admitted, a faint smile tugging at his lips. But I mean it. She hesitated, torn, until she heard herself say, one dinner. Relief and something warmer flickered across his face. Tomorrow. 7. And your men, they stay. You're not safe without them. She wanted to argue, but the fear she'd felt with Marcus still clung to her. Fine. But from a distance.
Deal.
He stepped back. One of his men handed her purse to him, and he passed it to her. Let me follow you home, he said. For my peace of mind. Too exhausted to fight, she nodded. She drove back to Monica's with Young's car trailing behind her. Her mind was spinning. She knew this was dangerous. His world was violent, complicated, dark. But he had protected her. He had cared. And he had looked at her like she mattered. She was falling for him. And she didn't know if that would save her or destroy her. Saturday arrived faster than Jane expected. She spent an embarrassing amount of time choosing what to wear until Monica stepped in, pulling together an elegant black dress, sophisticated without trying too hard. You look amazing, Monica said as she applied the finishing touches to Jane's makeup. He's going to lose his mind. I'm so nervous. What if this is a mistake? Jane whispered. Then it's your mistake to make.
But, Jane?
I've never seen you this excited about anything. That has to mean something. Young arrived exactly at 7, dressed in dark slacks and a button-down that looked like it cost more than Jane's monthly rent. He held a single red rose. You look beautiful, he said, his gaze sweeping over her with clear appreciation. Thank you. You look very handsome, she replied. Monica grinned behind her. Have her back by midnight, Mr. Kong, or I'll send the police after you. Young smiled politely. I'll take good care of her. I promise. His car, sleek, black, and different from the last one, waited downstairs. He opened her door like a perfect gentleman before sliding in beside her. Where are we going? Jane asked as the driver pulled away. You'll see, Young replied. They drove through the city, conversation flowing easily. Young asked about her work, her family, her dreams. He listened closely, asked thoughtful questions, and seemed genuinely interested in her simple, ordinary life. I envy you sometimes, he admitted. Me? Why? Because your life is your own. You make your own choices. I've never had that luxury. What do you mean? She asked. He hesitated. My family business was decided for me before I was born. My grandfather built an empire, and I'm expected to maintain it, no matter what I want. And what do you want? Honestly, Jung looked at her with something vulnerable in his expression. I wanted to be an architect, design buildings, create something beautiful instead of just managing the family legacy. It's not too late. He shook his head. In my world, you don't just walk away. Responsibilities are permanent. Before Jane could say more, they arrived at one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city, the kind that required reservations months in advance. Jung, this is too much, he asked carefully. I was going to say incredible. Inside was even better. The hostess greeted Jung by name and led them through the crowded dining room to a private terrace at the back, decorated with candles and fairy lights. The whole terrace is ours for the night, Jung explained. I wanted privacy, so we could actually talk. Over dinner, the best meal Jane had ever eaten, they shared stories. Jung opened up about the crushing expectations of his family. Jane told him about her childhood, her parents' divorce, her desire to travel the world. Where would you go first? Jung asked. Italy.
Rome.
To see the Colosseum, the Sistine Chapel, and eat real pasta. I could take you there. Jane laughed. Jung, we barely know each other. I could change that. If you let me. The intensity in his eyes made her breath hitch. What are you asking? I'm asking you to give this a real chance. Not just one dinner. See where this goes. Your life is complicated, she whispered. It is. But with you, it feels simple. When I'm with you, I'm just me. Jane hesitated. I don't know anything about your world. Good. Keep it that way as long as possible. He reached across the table and took her hand. I know this is fast. I know it's intense. But I haven't felt this way about anyone. Ever. Her heart pounded. It was insane. But the pull between them was undeniable. Okay, she whispered. We can see where this goes. But you have to promise me something. Anything. No secrets. If things get dangerous, if it becomes something I can't handle, tell me. Jung's expression flickered, but he nodded. I promise. No secrets. It was the first lie he ever told her. When he drove her home afterward, he walked her to Monica's door. At the threshold, he pulled her close. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for dinner. It was perfect. Can I see you again? Tomorrow? She laughed softly. Eager, aren't you? When I want something, I don't waste time. He kissed her, soft, sweet, promising. When they pulled apart, she was smiling. She didn't know someone across town had seen the kiss. Someone who saw her as a weakness, a vulnerability to exploit. The next week was a dream. Jung and Jane saw each other almost every day, coffee, lunches, dinners. He was attentive, charming, and surprisingly normal when he wasn't the intimidating heir to his family empire. At his office, she saw a different side of him. Professional, commanding, respected. But she also noticed the shadows. Hushed phone calls in Korean that hardened his expression. Men in suits whispering urgently before disappearing. People who looked at him with fear disguised as respect. She tried not to think about it. She should have. 2 weeks after their first date, Jung was stuck in a late meeting. Jane stayed home with Monica for a girls' night. Pizza, wine, and a terrible romantic comedy. Then her phone buzzed. Meeting running long. Miss you. Stay safe. Jane smiled. Miss you too. Don't work too hard. Monica caught the look on her face. You're falling for him, aren't you? Maybe, Jane admitted. Is that stupid? Probably. But you look happy. Hours later, when Monica went to bed, Jane headed to her own room, but froze. Her room was destroyed. Clothes everywhere. Drawers pulled out. Mattress overturned. Her laptop smashed. And on the wall, sprayed in red paint. Stay away from Kong or die. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Jane Chun. A distorted voice said. Consider this your only warning. Who is this? Someone who knows you've been spending time with Young Kong. That's a mistake. Walk away now, or next time, it won't just be your room that gets destroyed. The call ended. Jane's whole body shook. Then Monica screamed from her bedroom window. 3 men stood across the street, staring up at their apartment. Jung called moments later. Are you hurt? He demanded. No. But someone trashed my room. Someone threatened me. There are men outside. I know. I'm 5 minutes away. Lock the door. Don't let anyone in except me. He hung up. His arrival was loud and urgent. 2 guards flanked him as he swept Jane into his arms and checked her for injuries. When he saw the threat on her wall, his face hardened. Pack a bag, he said. You're coming with me. What? No. This isn't a request. Someone declared war. And you're in the crossfire. When she demanded answers, Jung finally confessed. His family business was not entirely legitimate. He had been trying to clean it up. His uncle wanted the old criminal routes restored. They had been in a shadow war for months. And now he's using you, Jung said quietly. Because you're the first person I've cared about in years. Monica hesitated, then agreed Jane needed protection. Reluctantly, Jane let Jung guide her out. His guards escorted them to the car. The 3 watchers outside were gone. Jane didn't want to imagine what that meant. As they drove away, Jung received another call. His warehouse had been attacked. Security footage showed masked men assaulting his workers. One held a photo of Jane. He's been watching us from the beginning, Jung said. He planned this. He's using you to distract me. They reached a massive estate outside the city, high walls,